What's going on, folks? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk. We're doing a live stream right here. This is very impromptu, but I wanted to get in and talk about the game that I just saw. Um, Colorado at TCU. What a game! That had to be one of the most exciting games that I've seen in a very, very long time. Um, both teams. It was, dude. It was incredible. It was incredible. If you didn't see that game, you missed it. You missed it. I had to create I immediately I created a YouTube short right after the game, and I was like, I got to talk about this now. I can't wait because I know this is going to be trending. Because I know Coach Prime was catching a lot of stuff. I already did a video about Coach Prime. I did a video called "Everybody Hates Prime," kind of like everybody hates Chris, but because he was catching a lot of hell after he left Jackson State, and he was he was selling some big tickets, some big wolf tickets. What's up, Mayor? I see you in there, man. That game was incredible. Shedeur Sanders is the truth. Ain't no two ways about it. I heard he was working with Tom Brady in the offseason where he took some stuff to heart. He was dropping bombs. He was, when you talk about dropping dimes, because I saw two passes. I think I may have missed a third ball, but there were two balls that I saw where he put on the money and the receiver just didn't come up with the catch. He just didn't come up with the catch. Yeah, Mayor, 1,000 yards of total offense. Shedeur had 510, and the kid Chandler Morris, he only had 279, but Shedeur was incredible throwing that ball. I did not expect him to have that much touch and that much accuracy. He was throwing the ball with anticipation. He may have had one or two bad balls, maybe, but I think there were two or three balls, deep balls, that he put in the receiver's hands and they just didn't come up with it. They just stone cold dropped them. So that was that had to be one of the better performances I've seen out of a college team in a very long time. Hold on for a sec, Mayor. I'm trying to extend this chat because I'm working with OBS. So there we go. Let me see if I'm tight. Yep, there we go. Yep, there we go. But man, that was an incredible game. He is going to have some issues on defense, but I guess every college team has issues on defense because TCU is ranked 17th and Colorado hung 45 on them. Shedeur Sanders threw for 500 plus yards. So every college defense is going to have those issues. Um, yeah, you're right. He had the best college coaches since forever. I mean, if you're gonna do, if you are Deion Sanders and you prime time and you are as loud as you are, you gotta have your kids be the best. I know some people have some issues with Shiloh, but I'm like, he's a free safety. What do you expect? He can't play everywhere. He played well enough, but that Colorado defense has got some issues and they got to tighten up. Most of all, their tackling was horrible. That's the one thing I did notice. Their tackling was god awful. You got guys coming in high against tight ends, and it's like, dude got mushed, and uh, it would have been like third and 3 or 4 if the guy can get the tight end down. Or that the fourth down play late in the fourth quarter. I can't remember, but the DB came up, made the play. He just did not tackle. He came in high on a guy that was much bigger than he was, and I didn't make sense. So um, it might be some hurt feelings in that film session. If not, it should be. But I tell you what, man, that was probably one of the most exciting games I've seen in a very, very long time, man. And that was a back and forth. Whoever had the ball last was going to win that game, and that's exactly what happened. And props to Prime. He was talking a lot of smack. Um, he sold a lot of tickets, and like he said after the game, he kept a lot of receipts because nobody likes when somebody talks that much. Eagles linebacker vibes though. Yes, that dude. That's the first thing I thought about. That is the first thing I thought about. I was like, man, they tackling like the Eagles did last year. Just couldn't. I always remember because that play against that tight end where he missed the tackle reminded me of when Marcus Epps came up and tried to make that hit against CMC in the playoff game last year. It was like, dude, you got to wrap up. You got to wrap up. So they got some tightening up to do on defense. However, if they get a defense, if they get any type of solid play on their defense, Colorado is going to be dangerous. Let me see. That kid, Dylan Edwards, a true freshman. He went to Jackson State, and when Prime left, Dylan Edwards went with him. Dylan Edwards went with him. And a true freshman. This kid had six carries for 24 yards and a touchdown, but he had 5 receptions for 135 and 3 touchdowns. I think all 3 of those were on screen passes, but still, and you've heard me say when I'm talking about the Eagles, it's not about rushes, it's about touches. When you get your playmakers the ball, let them do what they do, and this kid is electric. Now, the other kid, what's his name? Travis Hunter. They got him playing both ways. This kid is absolutely incredible. I think that's the at one point he was the number 1 ranked cornerback in the country out of high school or something like that. That kid was incredible. He caught 11 passes for 119 yards on offense. And then on defense, he had 3 solo tackles. Yeah, he had 3. Looks like 3 tackles, 3 tackles, 1 solo, and he played in total over 100 snaps. That kid is a beast. However, you cannot play that kid for 110 something snaps every game. His body's going to break down. I don't care how young you are. You can't put that much tread on those tires. Or the body's just going to, you can do it, but that kid must not practice during the week if he's going to play that much. He can't practice during the week. Because Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr. was pretty good. Jimmy Horn Jr. they had 4 receivers with over 100 yards. Jimmy Horn Jr. had 11 catches for 117. Travis Hunter had 11 for 119. Xavier Weaver had 6 for 118. And then you had Dylan Edwards with 5 for 135. So that was just ridiculous, man. And I can't say it enough. Shedeur Sanders put on a show. He put on a show. You can't take nothing away from that kid because he was putting the ball perfectly. He wasn't looking to run because I know he's fast and I know he can get out of here, but he was staying in the pocket, delivering the ball. So it'll be interesting when people get used to that and he starts to take off on you because I know the kid can run. But he stayed in the pocket and was delivering the ball. That was impressive. That was a very impressive performance by Shedeur Sanders and those Colorado Buffaloes, man. They put it on them. I'm with you, man. They can make some noise. They can definitely make some noise. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I want to see. It's hard to even say because what I want to say is I want to see him against a better defense. But that's what you're going to go against. That's exactly what you're going to go against. Because think about it. Like, look at all them teams that play Alabama. And Alabama ain't blowing everybody out 38-0. Alabama's got a lot of games where they get a lot of points scored on them because it's hard to play defense in college because everybody's fast. So I am very interested to see. They've got Nebraska next week. I gotta get in touch with my guy, Irvin Fryer. He might have something to say about that, but that was incredible. That was fun to watch because it was going back and forth. TCU has got this running back. What's his name? Imani Bailey. 14 carries, 164 yards. Woo! He was putting it down. So they played a good team. Away. They went to TCU and beat them on their home team, on their home turf, and put up 45 points against the number 17 team in the country right off the bat. And obviously, TCU is going to get dropped, but I don't know how far they're going to drop when you put up 42 points and just your defense just couldn't stop anybody. Now it'll be very interesting to see what they do against Nebraska next week, because if Nebraska does not come out and run the ball on Colorado, Nebraska's stupid. Did he have another rushing touchdown? You might be right. Yes, he did. 4 touchdowns on the day. You're absolutely right. 6 for 24 yards, 1 touchdown. That kid was incredible. True freshman. A true freshman. That kid he was incredible. Travis Hunter was incredible. Shedeur Sanders was incredible. Now, again, like the Eagles, they special teams was suspect. Their special teams was very, very suspect. But those are things that you can work on. But when you putting points on the board like that, oh my goodness. 45? And Shedeur Sanders just stood in the pocket and just waited for his guys to get open. Just waited for him to get open. Man, that was an impressive game. That was an impressive win. So that's a way to start out the season. Very good way to start out the season. What you laughing at? What you laughing at, dude? I watched UK too. I watched my guy Devin Leary. As you know, Devin Leary is somebody that I coached at the GT Stallions. When I coached there for 9 years, I coached with his father, Glenn. Shout out to Glenn Leary and the GT Stallions in South New Jersey. But Devin looked pretty good. UK just thumped Ball State today. I think he threw the ball very well. I don't know what's going on with ESPN that they don't have the game stats for UK and Ball State. I don't know what's going on with that. I've looked a couple times and I can't find them. So maybe they'll be up later. But while the game was going on, they didn't have any of that information up, which was weird. So time of possession was about, they was up. Yeah, 8 minutes at half, 18 minutes. Yep. Dude, you got to give it to Prime, because you know, without a shadow of a doubt, everybody wanted Prime to fail so they can have something to talk about. You already know. If they would have laid the egg, I don't think they would have had some good stuff to say because of the performance they put up today, win or lose. But you know, if he would have laid an egg, everybody, the knives would have come out. So for him to come out, go from Jackson State to Colorado, play a top 20 team first game away, and come out with a win like they won is beyond impressive. It is beyond impressive. Jill thinks I'm a breakfast taco. What? Several Heisman contenders on the Colorado team. You are not wrong. Here's the funny thing about that. They're going to cancel each other out. Because if Shedeur keeps throwing the ball like he's throwing, he's definitely a Heisman candidate. And Dylan Edwards is definitely a Heisman candidate as a true freshman if he keeps playing like that. But what's going to happen is they might cancel themselves out. So we'll see how that works. But sensational. Sensational there, breakfast taco. I can't stop laughing at that. That's funny. But yeah, I guess you could say Travis Hunter would be a Heisman candidate if they keep getting him the ball like that. But man, that's going to be something to watch. Because if they keep playing Travis Hunter like they played him today, I don't know anybody that has that type of stamina through the course of the whole season. So knock on wood that the kid stays healthy. But you got to be able to rest that kid in the game. Because I know there were 2 times specifically during the game where I saw Colorado like suck and win. I know one time they handed the ball off to Dylan Edwards, and he was just gassed. It was like a underneath handoff, kind of like a pull, and kind of, I don't know if he went in motion. I have to look at it again. But as soon as he got the ball, like he had no explosion. And then he got like maybe 1 yard or something, 1 or 2 yards. And then when he went back in the huddle, he had his hands on his hip, leaning back. He was sucking wind badly. So he's got him on a incredible pace, but you can't keep that type of pace up at that level for very long, because there are going to be plays like that where you kind of give it up because you're so gassed and you need a breather. And those are the plays where some people might step in and make a play, cause a fumble, throw a pick. Things like that happen all the time. So he's got to find a better way to keep those guys rested during the game so they can be fresh, because eventually you're going to need them. But again, it's, what can you say? Because he did what he did and they put up 45. And they should have had possibly two more. They could have put up a 50 burger if the receivers could catch. Well, if they didn't drop the balls, I can't say they couldn't catch. But Travis, Shedeur, Dylan, Horn, yeah, you are absolutely right, dude. You are absolutely right. Prime got all four of them. And you know what? Something to be said, because I didn't really give it much thought. But I'm going to guess that nobody thought Shedeur Sanders was this good. Nobody. Now, you're going to have people that came out and said, I saw him win. I knew he was like this at Jackson State. And I'm like, no, because the first thing people will say is, well, what is he going to do against top competition? Blah, blah, blah. And you know what? They weren't wrong. That is a valid criticism when you're playing against Jackson State competition. People in the SWAC. Because how many teams from the SWAC could put up 45 points against TCU? So even though you do get good competition in the SWAC, let's be honest, you're probably not going to get this competition or this level of play across the board or across your defense. You're going to have some good players here and there, but for the most part, if you take any other team, Jackson State or any other team in the SWAC, are they going to do what they did against TCU or anybody in that conference? Probably not. You're not going to place your money on that type of bet. So all of the naysayers that said Shedeur Sanders can't do that in Division I, he did it. Boy, did he do it. So, man, he put on the show, bro. That's a Jill. That is definitely a dream team. Definitely a dream team. I don't think I've been that entertained by a football game, by a college football game, in a very long time. You know, of course, you know, without it being like a national championship game or something like that. That's what that felt like, the going back and forth and all of that kind of stuff. It had that level of excitement. So now everybody's going to be looking to broadcast Colorado games. The influx of money down in Colorado just blew up. They're going to get all of the boosters. Like, people don't understand the type of domino effect a win like this has. And this is exactly what he did at Jackson State. For everybody that hated on him and all the other coaches that didn't like him and all of, you know, you saw all the stuff that he went through. But people have to understand what Prime is doing and the domino effect that it does. Now, every team that he plays is going to get national recognition. Every team that he plays, those players are going to get national recognition. So now, if you have a good game against Colorado, somebody's going to see you. So even go back to what he did at Jackson State. He brought all of the coverage. He brought all of the eyes. He brought all of that, the attention that the SWAC needed. Some of those teams are going to benefit from it. Some of them won't. So I got to go back and look at what Jackson State did today. I didn't see any of the game, and I didn't hear anything about Jackson State. Nothing. I have heard nothing about Jackson State, and the reason why I say it like that is because I wasn't looking for information on Jackson State. When you kind of take it to the next level, you don't have to look for information. They'll put the information out there. You didn't have to look for information about Colorado. The information was out there because of who Prime is and what he's done in the past. But I haven't heard squat from Jackson State. I want to go and see if they won today, if they played today. I've been a believer since day one. The criticism was cool, but some people just had that factor to them. Yes, you are absolutely right. But never forget, some of that criticism was valid. Now, the haters are going to hate. That's what they do. You always going to have that people. There is a big contingency of people that just don't like Deion Sanders because they didn't like him when he was with Atlanta. They didn't like him when he was with the Cowboys. They didn't like him when he was with the 49ers. They just don't like Deion. Hell, they probably didn't even like him when he played for the Cincinnati Reds. So you are always going to have people like that. So then you have the people that watch football, know what he's about, and still saw what was going on. And then you have your honest reservations. Let me see. And that's why I say the criticism or the hesitancy on Shedeur Sanders was valid. That was legit. Let's see what he can do against better competition and then come back and see me. And even now, as well or as good as a first step that was for Shedeur Sanders, being able to say, I'm ready for the next level. That was a huge first step. Now we got to see what happens in the next game. Let's see about, 3 games in after you got a couple teams that can game plan for him. Then let's see what he can do. Because again, I think it was very smart that he did not run the ball today at all. He got sacked, 3 times a day? So smart on his part because, again, I know he can run. I know he's got some wheels, but he is slinging that rock, so he doesn't have to run. He doesn't have to run. Matter of fact, if he stays healthy, it would not surprise me if Shedeur Sanders does not go to the combine. And he has a personal workout at Colorado. That would be the best thing, and that would be the biggest middle finger to the NFL and the scouts and all of that kind of stuff. Nope, I'm not going there. And if Deion was smart, everybody's going to come to him. And he'll probably handpick some guys from the SWAC and from Jackson State to give my opportunity and how to work out right in the indoor facility at Colorado. I'm predicting it. That's my prediction for when we're getting ready for the combine next year. Shedeur Sanders is not going to go to the combine, and he's going to work out at Colorado. So remember that. Yes, 0 interceptions. 4 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions. If you look at the thumbnail of this video, I do mention that. So do you think he stays another year, win or lose? I think he stays another year because he's trying to get into a different conference next year, right? They signed up to go to a different conference. I forget, they talked about it very briefly on the broadcast, but I believe he's moving to a different conference. And I'm not sure. Let me see what the iPhone says. Let me see. Colorado moving to a new conference. Check out the iPhone. Colorado has voted unanimously to leave the Pac-10 after this season and become a member of the Big 12, effective the 2024-25 season. So next year he's going to the Big 12. Yep. So y'all got it before I did. So I'm very interested to see that. But this is a great first step. And next year you don't even know who's going to be in the Pac-12 next year because everybody is moving conferences like you know, going to the store. I want to go to this Walmart or that Walmart or Target. It's like everybody's shuffling because everybody's going where the money is. But I can see, I wonder how this will affect the Pac-12 because now I can see other teams trying to get into the Pac-12 because they're going to get the coverage. The coverage means your school gets the money. So if the TV money goes up, your team is going to pull more money from the games. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They might as well be the Big 16. That's the way it's going. But that's all the conferences are doing. Like everybody's shuffling. Everybody's the ACC is different. The Big 12 is different. everything is getting shuffled around because everybody's trying to maneuver to where the money is. Notre Dame is not a draw anymore. Florida State is not a draw anymore. I would dare to say University of Miami really isn't a draw anymore. They're still popular schools, but like when I was in school, if University of Miami was on TV, you was watching that game. That was back when college football, you could argue, was as popular as the NFL, especially when you had Dion. Dion was prime time. That's when prime time had first came out back in the 80s and the 90s in college. It was it was a lot more exciting, and you had Florida State, you had Notre Dame, you had University of Miami, um, SC. So you still had some big teams back then. Colorado was good. Back not too long after Eric Bieniemy was with Colorado. Colorado was a tough team back in the day. Yeah, the Hurricanes are getting back right now, but still, I wouldn't call the Hurricanes. But let me say it like this: when I was in college and I was in high school, I graduated high school in '88. I went from college from '88 to '93. So I when I was in high school and in college, if the University of Miami was on TV, if Florida State was on TV, you watched that game. That was must see TV. Yeah, Cordell Stewart. Colorado was tough back in the day, man. The enemy had them big old guns. I remember that. But back then, you were born in '88. You were a baby. Stop playing with me. I was 18 years old, bro. But uh, yeah, that was that. Listen, man, that was it was just different back then because back then there was not much competition. Social media didn't exist. Computers didn't exist like they exist now. The internet wasn't even a thing back then. Most people forget that the internet didn't really exist back then. I didn't have internet in college. They were just discovering that. I didn't get AOL until I got out of college. That's, you got to think about how all of this technology and stuff has affected and transformed the way we consume the media. You didn't have that back then. So if there was a game, if the University of Miami or Florida State was playing on a Saturday, that was prime time and everybody watched it. That's why they were so popular. Jimmy Johnson and all of them, you couldn't compete with that. And there's people that will argue to this day that those teams like 86, 87, 88, really from 82 to the 90s, those Miami teams could have probably played some of the NFL teams and may have held their own, possibly even won. I know there's some people that would argue that vehemently because the Miami team was that good. Those Miami teams back in the 80s, you couldn't mess with them. Could not mess with them. So all of it when you hear everybody talk about swag and all of that kind of stuff, all these terms that we throw out now, normally, all of that stuff was invented at the University of Miami. Michael Irvin, all of them guys, Sap, all of them dudes. Do y'all realize that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, went to the University of Miami and he couldn't even start? Warren Sapp took his position. He couldn't even start. Yeah, man. Lots of Hall of Famers. So that whole concept started in the 80s with University of Miami. They were must-see TV. Jeremy Shockey, a lot of people forget how good Jeremy Shockey was. Jeremy Shockey was Gronk before he was. If he didn't tear his knee, Shockey was ridiculous. Ed Reed, he's another one. Hard hitter. Michael Irvin, playmaker. All them dudes, you could not mess with Miami. Couldn't mess with them. Couldn't mess with them. And then you had Florida State was in the mix. with Bobby Bowden down there, Florida State was tight too. And that's when Prime came into his own. And I never forget when Prime said, if I leave college early, I'll take a pay cut. One of the best sound bites ever. But those dudes, man, they were another level. Another level. So, back to today's game. It was that level of excitement from me. So me personally, and in my opinion, I haven't seen a game like that in a long time, in a very long time. So that was a hell of a lot of fun, and I can't wait to watch next week to see what's going to happen. I can't wait to watch next week to see what's going to happen. So, Shedeur, brother, you got it. It's all on you, young fella. It's all on you. And I want to see how far you can go with it. Because he's, wow. Impressive. So, great way to start. Great Saturday. Great way to start football season. Now we got to wait till Thursday to get this game started. I hate that the NFL season is starting on a Thursday. That just don't seem right. So, but anyways, it was cool, man. It was Shedeur Sanders, man. That kid's special. 40 touchdowns to 6 picks. Jackson State last year. He's got the good size, 6'2", 215. So, but it was good. So, somebody call him. But anyways, but that was fun. Can't wait to see what happens next week. And come back on. I'm gonna live stream again. Make sure you check me out on Tuesday. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the NFL season hits. So I am on a sprint to Thursday so I can make 1K. So please subscribe, spread the word, hit that notification bell, and we're going to be coming back to you. I'll see you, Mayor. You're in a battle rap event. All right. I see you. All right. I appreciate y'all chiming in, Mayor. I appreciate you. Jill thinks I'm a breakfast taco. I appreciate you for coming in. I can't get over that name. But I'm going to catch you guys out next time.